Hello, everybody. I think I'm live now. How you doing? Hey. All right. So we're here today to talk a little bit about, obviously, the appeal filed for Steve and Avery. Now, I did not get the chance to read the whole thing yet. I'm a little over a third of the way through it. I got home pretty late. So, but I think what we're going to do here tonight, with some warning, I mean, people have been commenting. Anyway, this is definitely not going to be a complete thing. I'm going to go through the table of contents on this right now with everybody and just give everybody a general idea of what to expect. So this is not going to be the main deal. I'm actually thinking I might get with Travis, and him and I might do a similar thing, maybe where we break this up into 3 parts, and kind of do like what we did with the motion for post-conviction relief. Maybe even get somebody in to help us with PowerPoint, and go through this thing. So, hey Chase, hello Marilee, hello Jenny. Are you still with us there, Travis? He might have gone off into sleepy land. It's pretty late for him. Oh man, I was thirsty. Not much. What's going on, DSP? So, I'll give it a few seconds here for people to join. But, yeah, so we'll go through the kind of table of contents here. And you guys can get an idea. What does that face mean? I don't know what that means, Julie. I don't know what that emoji means. But we'll go through the table of contents. And I think from that, you guys will get an idea of what she's really getting at, what she's looking to do. Oh, sleepy face. Oh, Travis, yes, right. Got it. No, but seriously, I do want to come at this thing, and I'm just kind of trying to kill a little bit of time to allow people to get here, but I do hope that maybe Travis and I can do this, and we can get somebody to help us PowerPoint it, and really, go through this thing in kind of like the way we did go through the post-conviction motion. I think that would be awesome. I've not read the whole brief. I am a little over a third of the way through. It's brilliant. I mean, I'm already into the argument section, so I'm reading her arguments. The one thing people need to realize about this thing, I think that maybe you might forget. In this one, she's not necessarily going to be arguing so much about like the facts of the case, although she is going to be arguing that stuff because it's important to the arguments that she's making. But you have to understand, right now her arguments are all going to be based around her criticizing the circuit court or Judge Sukowitz's decision. So her arguments are all going to be based on why Wisconsin law says that what Judge Sukowitz did, what the circuit court did, was unreasonable. And so that's really what she's arguing here. So you got to kind of keep that in mind as you're reading the arguments, that the arguments are aimed at the circuit court because she is appealing the circuit court's decision. So therefore she is attacking the circuit court's decision. So you got to kind of keep that in mind. It is tiny. It's hard to tell. I'm not done reading it either. Page 119. Yeah, see, I'm around page 55. I literally got home at 8 o'clock. I would have been reading on the train on the way home, but my phone was at 15% battery. So I would have probably, I could have, just read until my phone died, and I might have got, who knows, maybe 15 pages in, who knows. But So I couldn't read on the way home. So I had to literally wait till I got home. So I'm only at page 55, but we'll come back at it tomorrow, or maybe even the next day. And or at least I'll come at it tomorrow and talk about it, and then hopefully maybe Travis and I can put together a little, slideshow, and we can do something kind of like what we did with the motion for post-conviction relief. There you go. Pom Pom put up a link for where you guys all could go to find the brief and read it for yourselves if you like. See, love this line. The state cannot credibly argue that it returned animal bones to the Halbach family for burial or cremation. Right? That is a good line. All right, Travis is back. He's all right. Sounds like he'll be on board with it. We just got to put it together. It takes a bit of work to put it together, so we'll have to try to get on that. See, there's Travis. He wants to cover the appendix for you guys. That's why it's gonna have to get broken up into 3 videos, because Travis is like, he wants to really show you guys what's going on here legally. Pom Pom will have the appendix soon enough. Okay, here's Pom Pom's favorite line so far. It is a reasonable inference that Special Agent Fassbender and Investigator Wiegert were highly motivated to provide corroboration for the confession they created. Absolutely. That is hilarious too. Yes, that is a great quote, by the way, Julie. But they're talking about how Fassbender fed, he basically led Brendan to say that Stephen did something under the hood. He suggested it to Brendan. He even started suggesting that Stephen might have done something under the hood. He basically pushed Brendan to say something about Stephen going under the hood. And then, so what that is actually referring to is the fact that they obviously then needed to hopefully corroborate what they fed Brendan, so they swabbed the hood latch, right? Yeah, so 1,200 pages on the appendix. Paul Capaldi, you're gonna read it? Yeah, I'm reading it, Paul. You shouldn't be so shocked. I read plenty of things. Jeez. You listen to an audiobook or two and Mr. Capaldi has a fit. It's them Scots, what are you going to do? I do, Paul. That's why I watch YouTubers. That's funny, Chase. My favorite is Eisenberg gave a false story. Yeah. I think she's certainly getting a fair amount of input from people who have gone through the documents. How much of it she's finding useful, I don't know, but I'm sure she's found some of it useful. I'm sure it's pointed some of her associates and people working on this case in the right direction sooner than they might have maybe gone down that path on their own. So I'm thinking people that have been looking into the case have probably helped a little bit. There will probably never be really a thank you or anything, maybe, but yeah, I would imagine that some of the stuff that supporters have been able to pass along has probably helped them cut down on some time here and there. Hi, Survivor. Let's see. There's no question they took his hand or knee and let him right underneath the hood. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's great. She has all of us. Research is hard, and she's working, on quite a few cases. Absolutely. Can you read it to us at Paul? I'd love it. I guess thanks is secondary to getting them out. Oh, yeah, you know. No worries. I think she has already thanked some people for their help. Well, yeah, I guess, you know, in that sense, yeah. Julie has a point. There's been a couple people I think she said thanks to. Let's see. Fox Hills BD interview mission and possible fact feeding should be... Yeah, I know, right? You have no idea what happened there. So, I like the way the key migrated to the northwest side of the bookcase. Right, I like the way she put that too. Waiting on oral or evidentiary hearing, then Zellner can unleash the aces she's holding. Love the description of the AC dance with the nightstand. I call it the twist and shout. That's what I've always called it. But yes, Julie just posted the link above, and I'm sure she'll post it again for you now. So, anyways, to go over the table of contents, you know, of, you know, what basically to get a rough idea what's in here, right? It start off, here we are with the table of contents. So, we got number 1 is the issues presented, which is where she goes through and talks about each thing, each issue she has with the circuit court and the decision it made, and then it has the notation in there that the circuit court, you know, basically feels they did what was right, you know, and so it's like a number of items. Anyway. Statement on oral argument and publication. Okay, statement of case and procedural history. Starting with the state's case. The state's timeline for October 31st of 2015 and witnesses. And then the state's forensic evidence. Then we have the defense's case. And in that we have the defense's forensic evidence and third-party suspects. Is where she goes. So then we have the next topic is going over Stephen's post-conviction and direct appeal, and then goes into Stephen Avery's pro se post-conviction, right, talking about that, and then goes into talking about the motion for scientific testing, and the second post-conviction 97406, which is the one KZ filed in was it September of 2017. Alright, so then it goes into the arguments. So let me go back to the chat real quick here. Let's see here. Load the description. AC was dirty dancing with the nightstand, no doubt. I had the time of my life. Anyway. So what's the best case scenario after this? Best case scenario is that they find that she is, that the any number of the claims, hopefully Brady, hopefully the Bones, any of those claims find, you know, that the appeals court finds they have merit and orders it back for an evidentiary hearing or a new trial. Even the COA, let's see. Wonder how many flowers will be delivered in the next 30 days. It will take a while. It's not a fast process. That's true. Even the Court of Appeals grants any, even if the Court of Appeals grants any trial, the state is almost certain to appeal that decision, and we've still got a long way ahead of us. So Julie is absolutely right. If the appeals court sides with Zellner and Avery, Stephen, basically, then the state's going to appeal that. So they're going to appeal that to the Supreme Court, right, of Wisconsin. And so it's like, you know, it's not going to be, she's right to point out it's not going to be a really quick process. It's going to be a fight, really. I mean, it's going to be a fight. If Zellner used an abbreviation for every time she said circuit court abused or the circuit court ignored, right? She would half the word count. Remaining chapters of violations. Hilarious. Awesome. Here's another link. That's the direct link there. But if you guys go to the link that Pom Pom posted, that actually goes to the Work with KZ website that was created by Pom Pom and someone else. It was Wrecking Crew members, created by Wrecking Crew members. And so go over and check that out, because not only will you find this most recent filing there, but you will find every other filing in Stephen and Brendan's cases over there. Or all of Stephen's, and I think most of Brendan's, if I'm not mistaken. And it can ping pong down to the circuit court for evidentiary hearing and backup. It can, so there's certain things that can happen in this where, you know how we've been waiting because it went back, the Court of Appeals ordered that, it go back to the circuit court for fact finding. We saw, it took Judge Sukowitz a while to make her decision where she basically denied it all, didn't hold an evidentiary hearing. Now we're going back. So we could see more of that back and forth kind of stuff. It's hard to say just yet, so. Okay, no worries, Pom Pom. So almost all of Brendan's are there yet. She's still working on that. She'll have them there, I'm sure, soon enough. But I'm pretty sure all Stephen's stuff is there. But you can, like I said, you can find this most recent filing and all the other filings by KZ. So, let's see, but it's already been down to the circuit court to ask for. Yes, I'm sure. But if the Court of Appeals finds that Kathleen Zellner, in her arguments here, is arguing that the circuit court erred and ignored and all that sort of stuff, the Court of Appeals is going to be inclined to send it to a different circuit court, a different judge. You know what I mean? They're probably going to send it somewhere else, and they're probably going to lay out some kind of explicit guidelines, I would imagine. That would be if they end up ruling in Stephen's favor, I would imagine. If it goes back to the CC and they don't specifically order a hearing, then the fix is in. I'll have a summary posted soon. This one is taking a while to process. There's nothing he can do. It's over. It's been too long. That's the spirit, Joshua. See, did you notice that SoCal Weather agrees with Pom Pom? SoCal Weather agrees with Pom Pom? You saying she looked good out at City Walk and on the strip, Trav? So no new discoveries or bombshells added from the 100,000K tip hotline. That's this one. Even if there is yet, she's not going to be saying anything yet, or at least not until it's been thoroughly vetted. So I would say, that's not such a surprise to me. If anything comes from the tip line, we're going to be waiting a bit to hear about it, I'm sure. No word on Brendan's commutation request. So, to get back to the arguments being laid out. So, she starts with, the circuit court abused its discretion in denying Mr. Avery's motion to vacate its October 3rd, 2017 order and allow additional scientific testing. So what she ends up working in with this, the denial on October 3rd is the denial of the original motion for post-conviction relief. That's the big 1,000-page, that she filed, and the original motion, for post-conviction relief she filed. That was denied on October 3rd. So, and what she's rolling all into that ball here is also the fact that she was talking with the state. She was talking with the attorneys for the state. They were all making agreements to do further testing because everybody believed that it was heading for an evidentiary hearing. Nobody believed that this was just going to get denied, just like, whew, right? And so she's rolling all that in with her argument. It's really kind of brilliant. Interesting stuff. So that's where she starts. She talks about the standard of review, and then the circuit court erred in not complying with the prior trial court order regarding scientific testing. And so she's rolling in that order from Judge Willis to allow scientific testing, because she basically explains in here how they were using that order to, when she was talking with Fallon and the attorneys for the state, they were using that order to kind of determine what they should be able to test. And so it was all being arranged, and nobody expected Judge Sukowitz's decision to come out the way it did and as quickly as it did, and without an evidentiary hearing. Oh, all right. Yeah, she'll keep it in her pocket. Fallon never intended to turn over the RAV. I believe she couldn't introduce new evidence yet. So can't use any hot tips yet. I would say no, but as soon as she is sure that there's something credible, she'll have to talk about it immediately, because as we know, if you don't, you get procedurally barred. So as soon as she has something concrete, right? Exactly. When you're in the appeals court, you can only talk about stuff that's been in the circuit court. That's one of the tough limitations with it. So that's why I say in this thing, she's not necessarily arguing the case so much as she is arguing that Judge Sukowitz was wrong. That's essentially it. You gotta that's the thing with this, you gotta wrap your head around. She's arguing that Judge Sukowitz is wrong. The circuit court is wrong. And that is what she has to prove here, and that is what she has to argue. So it's, anyway. So when Willis had it, he at least gave appeal lawyers an evidentiary hearing. Yeah, that's true. He did. Let's see here. Shows that local politics are in play there, like a lot of places. Yep. Let's see. With the icing after he gets out, but it will be so far out they won't have to. She'd have to file a request for stay and remand like she did before, but Travis would have to tell us if she could even do that now that she's filed the brief. I imagine the brief could be stayed, just like Stevens' pro se appeal was stayed, or at least that's what I'm thinking. When she wanted to remand for scientific testing, they talked about how they put Stevens' appeal on a stay. I'd imagine they could do a similar thing here. She's arguing for that pretty hard in this brief. NFI, where does I see? I'm looking forward to reading it right after this. Casey seems pretty confident about where it is. It says in this brief that it's at Calumet. I think it's actually just like officially in Calumet's custody, but in Madison. So moving on to the next argument. The circuit court abused its discretion in summarily dismissing Mr. Avery's second motion pursuant to Wisconsin Statute 97-406 without addressing the 5 Brady claims raised and in subsequently denying Mr. Avery's motion to supplement, which raised a sixth Brady claim, all of which deprived him of due process in violation of Wisconsin and United States Constitution. So that section goes with the standard of review. Brady violation regarding Mr. Ramlow, Brady violation regarding Mr. Redant, Brady violation regarding the original flyover video taken on November 4th of 2005, Brady violation regarding zipper or voicemail, which is gone, nowhere to be seen, nobody knows where it is, nobody's seen it, heard it, ever, it's gone, it's poof. Brady violation regarding Miss Heidel, and Brady violation regarding Dassy Yonda CD. Well, Josh, they are going to keep fighting it, and we're going to keep fighting on our side. The lawyers are going to keep fighting, and it's going to keep going. So, but that's okay. We like having a little rain cloud here to remind us, to humble us. So, it's not where it should be according to the ledgers. Brady violation is important. Automatic new trial. Absolutely. That's why she's most likely coming out with it early in the brief. But like she's pointing out here, she's pointing out that there were 6 Brady violations. There were 5 of them that the circuit court didn't even address, didn't even give any kind of consideration really. And then the 6th one was denied, right? So then we move on to the next part of the argument. The circuit court erred as a matter of law in failing to address Mr. Avery's claim of ineffective assistance of trial counsel. So she's going through how their denial of, Judge Sukowitz's denial of her claims of ineffective assistance of counsel, which mainly center around the fact like the prosecution had 14 expert witnesses in and that sort of thing. But then the defense only had, 7 witnesses in, and only 2 of them qualified as experts. And so she's talking about how trial defense counsel failed to get in the proper, experts and proper people with the proper knowledge to be able to really, attack the prosecution's case and to build their own. And so that's one of her main points. Took forever to get justice for Hurricane Carter, but it happened. What's the Brady most likely to succeed? The CD being held in Tom Fassbender's personal custody for 12 years because they were afraid that it would have led trial defense counsel right to their Denny suspect that they'd been wanting and hoping and trying to argue for. So, yeah, they didn't want that to get into the defense's hands. It's pretty obvious, I think the CD's got a good shot. How's it going, Linus? So, and in that section, you got the standard of review, failure to hire experts, case law, failure to hire experts, failure to investigate and impeach the state's primary witness, Bobby, failure to establish Mr. Hillegas as a Denny third-party suspect, trial defense counsel failed to investigate a variety of additional topics. Then the next argument is the circuit court erred as a matter of law in ruling that it was not authorized by statute to resolve claims of ineffective assistance of counsel prior post-conviction assistance of prior post-conviction counsel, and that Mr. Avery would have to pursue that claim with the Court of Appeals pursuant to State v. Knight. Standard of review, Mr. Avery is not challenging ineffectiveness of prior appellate counsel, Mr. Avery's current claims are clearly stronger than prior post-conviction counsel's claims. Next argument, the Circuit Court abused its discretion in dismissing Mr. Avery's second motion pursuant to the Wisconsin Statute 97406 without requiring the state to respond or to even conduct an evidentiary hearing. Standard of review on that. Next argument, the Circuit Court erred as a matter of law in applying the wrong standard to newly discovered evidence. Next argument, Mr. Avery raised sufficient reason as to why these issues could not have been raised in prior motions pursuant to Wisconsin Statute 97406. Standard of review, Mr. Avery has demonstrated a sufficient reason for failing to raise the current claims earlier. Mr. Avery's pro se motion. Then we move on to the Circuit Court abused its discretion in denying Mr. Avery's motion to reconsider and his 3 supplements to said motion, which included new evidence developed after his original filing on June 7th of 2017. The standard of review on that, and then Mr. Avery's motion for reconsideration and its supplements presented new evidence not ruled upon in the Circuit Court's October 3rd, 2017 order. The Circuit Court abused its discretion in ignoring the subsequent briefs submitted by parties incident to the motion to supplement. The Circuit Court erred in denying Mr. Avery's supplemental motion for post-conviction relief pursuant to Wisconsin Statute 97406 concerning the discovery of human bones in the Manitowoc County gravel pit before trial. And that section has materiality, potentially exculpatory evidence preserved under Wisconsin Statute 968.205. The DNA evidence preservation statute presumes that every violation constitutes bad faith. Every violation constitutes bad faith. Eesh. There you go. Then we have the conclusion, certification for the form length, and certification, so other certifications. But so that is like basically a rough outline of what all is going to be in there. I'm not running down the brief tonight, Linus. What I was doing was reading the table of contents, basically, of what is, the rough kind of outline of what's in the brief. I unfortunately got home very late and was not able to finish reading it. I'm, like I said, I'm around page 55 right now. So, but tomorrow night, I'll get up and I'll get on here and I'll do a little bit more. I'll talk a little bit more about it. And then maybe Travis and I will be able to do a little something. Maybe we'll be able to get a slideshow together. So anyway, but no, this is just kind of a preliminary thing. Thing just came out today. So, but we'll put together a fuller video in the days to come here. So. Henbury, has the appendix been requested? Larry White was the false confession expert. Hey, Rubber Ducky. Let's see. I'm not sure how that's relevant. Did you have a question for Erekose? I'm concerned that Stephen's pro se motion is going to come back to haunt him. Possibly, I guess. Maybe, I guess. Let's see. Are you a pole fancy? So, that's basically what's going to be in it. It's like I said, as you're reading this thing, you just got to remember she's attacking the decisions made by Judge Sukowitz. Not so much... she's not so much arguing the case as much as she is arguing that Judge Sukowitz made mistakes and made errors, and that she wants the appeals court to correct it. It is good. It's like I said, I'm at page 55, and I've just been like, you know, she's just laying it out in a very kind of simple, systematic way of why the state's own, like, where she and and this is what I think is brilliant, because I always like to do this myself, using the state's own word and the state's own evidence and the state's own you know witnesses, and she's pointing out that they haven't really connected the dots. It's really, really funny. It's interesting. So unless anybody else has any particular questions, like I said, Travis and I are going to be getting together. It looks like Travis is on board, judging by the things he's been saying here in the chat. So hopefully him and I will get together here, and we'll put together something, quite a bit more, in depth, and where we'll dig into the appendixes a bit, because Travis is really big on those. There's not many holes for the state to poke into this brief. Bobby Dassey's back scratches photos. Just saw those today for the first time. Yep. Wish I had more time this week to help with the PowerPoint. Oh, no worries, Pom Pom. Thanks for helping out on Saturday. Yes, a more comprehensive video by Travis and I. KZ gets a hearing, will she be able to subpoena KK? If she gets a hearing she won't get a hearing. She won't necessarily get a hearing with the appeals court. What they might get is oral arguments. And that'll be a lot like what we saw with Laura Nyrider and Luke Berg in Brendan's habeas appeal. It'll be more like that. Linus, I'm not actually sure. I'll probably go on tomorrow. I'm pretty darn sure I'll finish reading it tomorrow. I'm going to make sure my phone's fully charged so that when I'm riding the train in the morning, I'll be able to read on my way to work. And I should have it fully read by tomorrow. And I'll get on and I'll talk about, some of the high points. So, as far as the thing with me and Travis, that may come on the weekend. And I may be out of town on Saturday, so I may not be home at an early hour. So, alright, folks. Alright, it's pretty late. I got home pretty late and have been I was reading for about an hour and a half straight before I went live. So I'm pretty tired. I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Thank you, everybody, for dropping in and hanging out. Look forward to tomorrow. Look forward to tomorrow. I'll get on and I'll talk about this a bit more in full. And also look forward to Travis and I really, really digging into it. And Travis getting to explain a lot more of the legal aspects to you guys, working in the appendix, because Travis is pretty excited about the appendix, folks. He really, truly is. Seriously. He's been talking about it all day. Anyways, alright. That's about it for this one, folks. Thank you guys for being here. Thanks for Rugged Producky for being here. Being Green, Survivor, T1, what's up, buddy? Ziggy. Thank you all. Pom Pom. thank you for being here. And we'll see you guys tomorrow with a bit more, as Travis would say, comprehensive video, or at least a fuller video. And then we'll do the comprehensive video with Travis this weekend. So, all right, guys, if you haven't already, please hit subscribe. And there's your salute for whoever didn't get their salute before. So there it was. All right, bye, guys.